Hi, I'm Zakariya Adeel, and I'm the author of Secrets of the Combined Astrology, the full 144 combinations when the Chinese and the Western zodiacs meet. Okay? Thank you so much for coming, as I already said, and I will begin my presentation. Alright, I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit about me, because how I found my way to Chinese astrology and Western astrology is kind of an interesting one. I was raised in a Muslim family, and astrology is not really the done thing, or this sort of spiritual stuff, but I was a very kind of an alternative kid. I mean, at 4 years old, I turned around to my mum when my granddad just died and said, who is he going to come back as, or when is he going to come back? And obviously Muslims don't believe in reincarnation. So, but I seemed to be aligned with spiritual principles even before knowing what they actually were. And I always felt like I was guided down a certain road. So my mum was quite sick for the early part of my life, and me and my brother and my sisters, it seemed like we didn't have much guidance in terms of emulating our parents. Wouldn't have taken us down a good road. So we had to find alternative methods to emulate or learn from or simulate. And for me, I just found this book by Theodore Lau called The Handbook of Chinese Astrology, which is a very has a very Chinese astrological background. So I sort of learned from that first. I knew a little bit about Western astrology already, but I must have been 8 or 9 years old. I think I was 9 years old when I found this book, and read it through. And when I read the sheep sign, which is what the year I'm born in, I just felt like it related to me so much. And the reason for that is because I'm born in the year of the sheep and the time of the sheep. So when you're constructing a Bartzi chart, which is the way that the Chinese system does it, well, one of the ways anyway, you imagine you've got a big pie, right? Half of the pie is your year of birth. Then 2 segments of the pie down here. So the pie is split into six parts, okay? 3 of those segments are your year, 2 of those segments are your time of birth, and 1 of the segments is your Western zodiac sign, but also the icing on the cake is also your Western zodiac sign. So your perspective is your Western zodiac. So I'm an Aquarius, so I present like I'm an Aquarius, but actually the core of my personality is sheep, because I've got 5 segments sheep, 1 segment Aquarius, which equates to the tiger. Does that make sense? So also, what I've done with this book, which no other Chinese astrologers have done, is I don't use Chinese elements. I can use Chinese elements, but because I'm combining the 2 systems together, it would be hard to have the 5 Chinese elements and the 4 Western elements. So I was going to try and use the Chinese elements, but 5 is not as divisible between 144 as 4 is. 4 is better. So therefore, I've converted all of the Chinese elements into the Western elements. How have I done that? Well, imagine a list of all of the Western zodiac signs down here, and there's a Chinese equivalent of each of those signs. So let's go through them, okay? So the first Chinese sign is the rat. That equates to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is what element? Fire, right? So therefore I've attributed the fire sign of Sagittarius to the rat sign. So the rat is now a fire sign. Okay? Make sense? Ox equates to Capricorn. Capricorn is what? Earth. So ox is an earth sign. Tiger equates to Aquarius, which is what? Air. So tiger is an air sign. Pisces equates to rabbit, which is water. So rabbit is a water sign. Dragon equates to Aries, which is fire. Snake equates to Taurus, which is earth. Gemini equates to horse, which is air. Have I missed one? No. Sheep equates to Cancer, which is water. Monkey equates to Leo, which is fire. Rooster equates to Virgo, which is earth. Dog equates to Libra, which is air. And the last sign, the boar sign or the pig sign, equates to Scorpio, which is water. Alright? So that's how each of the Chinese signs now has a Western element attached to it. The reason why I did this is because the way that Western elements work, we understand that water in our culture means creativity. But in the Chinese system, it means something different. It means forcefulness, hardness, gruffness. Whereas to us, fire means forcefulness and organization and fiery personality, all that sort of thing. Whereas in Chinese astrology, they've attributed it like a fire, fixed element of fire, to the sheep sign, which is passive and malleable and sweet and creative and the social worker of the world. they see it in a different way. So therefore, I thought, because this is written in a Western audience, if I use the Western elements and attribute it to the Chinese signs, it's going to make more sense. Did that make sense to everybody? I know I kind of talk a lot. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, so that was the starting point. So in terms of having a Bartzi chart, so let me explain to you how Bartzi works as well. With a Bartzi chart, there are 4 things that are important. So your year of birth, your time of birth, and your month of birth. So the way the Chinese do it is they have, each of the months has a Chinese sign attached to it. Very, very similarly to the way that we have our Western zodiac signs. But instead of me using the month, I use the Western zodiac sign. And the 4th thing that they use is the place you're born. I don't really use that one so much. I just use the other 3. Okay? That's why when you see my mind map pie chart that's in the book, you'll see that I've really only got the three things. Let me show you. It's just here. You can have a look. Can you see that? So that's how it works. And then you've got the element strip around the outside as well. So, but each of the Chinese signs has like a role. Okay, so you've got to look at it in terms of each of the Chinese signs has a specific role, and because it equates to one of the Western zodiac signs, there are similarities between the 2 signs, but they're not exactly the same. Okay, so let's look at Monkey and Leo, for example. Leo in the Western zodiac sign is the leader. It's aggressive. It's it's the lion. Whereas when we look at the monkey sign, it's not extroverted like the Leo is. It's introverted. We think of the monkey as being kind of an extroverted sign, but actually it's not. You think of the monkey people that most of them are introverted, but they have a fieriness about them as well. But it has to come out. Otherwise, it's within them. But they're strong, forceful personalities, but they're not overt with it, like the Leo might be. So, but there are similarities, okay? But they're not the same sign, all right? Okay, now I wanted to talk to you about the roles. If you don't mind, I'm going to hold this in my hand. Each of the signs have a specific role. So, when we look at the rat sign, for example, they're the entrepreneurs. Okay, there are so many entrepreneurial personalities of that sign. Zuckerberg, rat Taurus. Simon Fuller is rat Taurus as well, actually. But these are the signs of people who start their own businesses and do so with the real. They do what they love, right? And when they do what they love, it tends to work out because they put so much of themselves. They sort of throw themselves into these things. So they're the entrepreneurs. They're the life coaches. They're the kind of like spiritual life coaches. They're more life coaches than anything else. Okay, and that's why they're able to use their own advice for themselves and for the people that they're serving. Okay, the ox sign, which is the sign of it's the sign of the authoritarian. So these people are the managers, they're the controllers. Okay, so the stereotype of the ox sign is that all the dictators are born in this year. Like it's crazy how many of them, or dictatorial personalities. But also it's the sign of the stand-up comic, because the skill set is the same. You think of anybody that's a stand-up comic. They're persuasive. They get people on side quickly. They're charismatic. Think of a dictatorial personality. The same skill set, just being used in different ways. Because there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum of this is the skill set, but how are you going to use it? You're going to use it for good, or you're going to use it for evil? You're going to use it for your own self-interest or for the interest of the masses? Same skill set being used in different ways. Okay, but let's move on. So we've got the tiger sun. The tiger sun is the pure humanitarian. Okay, these people often work in law. They work as policymakers. They want to change the world for the betterment of other people through legal methods, legal means. So usually that's the kind of the stereotype. But tigers often, in terms of the performance work, because the book is really celebrity oriented. So basically, you highlight each of the 144 combinations through celebrities. So when you look at the tiger chapter, jam-packed full of alternative rock or folk musicians, especially when there's an air sign attached. So Tiger Gemini, Tiger Aquarius, and Tiger Libra. So many of them. But okay, we'll move on. So the rabbit sign. The rabbit sign is the political artist. Okay, usually in terms of the celebrity world, they work in the theatre. So many directors. Rabbit Virgo. You think Rabbit Virgo, you think theatre director. Such a stereotype. So each of the signs each of the 144 have stereotypes as well. Let's move on to the dragon. The dragon is a psychologist. Sigmund Freud was a dragon Taurus. But they're also the spiritual messengers of the world. They're more the spiritual messengers. They come with like a knowledge of who they are and what it is that they can do and how they can work with people. So people like Wayne Dyer, for example. so many, I just can't think of the top of my head now, but they work in spiritual fields not similar to the rats. Rats work in life coach methods. We're going to work one-on-one. Tony Robbins, for example, you know, whereas the dragons are different. They feel like they've come with a message, and they exhibit that message for everybody to hear, as well as being highly psychologically minded as well. The snakes, I find snakes so interesting. This is what Oprah Winfrey is, okay? Snake-Aquarius. These are the mentors of the world. J.K. Rowling, Snake Leo. Let me tell you about J.K. Rowling quickly. J.K. Rowling is a Snake Leo, right? They went for hundreds and hundreds of boys to try and find a Harry Potter, right? They find Daniel Radcliffe, Snake Leo. There's 144 combinations. They find another Snake Leo to play that role. Same thing happened when they did Dawson's Creek. Kevin Williamson is a Snake Pisces. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boys to find a Dawson to play Dawson in Dawson's Creek. Snake Pisces, James Van Der Beek. This sort of stuff happens again and again and again, okay? In terms of how the Chinese astrology cycle works, right? Imagine a face of a clock. So each time we go along from one combination to the next, it's kind of a bit of a transition. So, okay, so in America, we've got Oprah Winfrey as this amazing teacher. And in India, there's a guy that's done a TV show called Satyadam Jayate. I can never remember the name of it. Do you remember the name? Satyadam Jayate, whatever it is. Anyway, he's known as the Oprah Winfrey of India, right? And it's Amir Khan, famous Indian actor. He's the next combination along. He's a Snake Pisces after Oprah Winfrey. Then there's a guy called Tim Ferriss, who, I don't know if any of you guys know who he is. He's a very famous. He's written a book called The 4 Hour Work Week and a few other books, but he's known as the Oprah of the internet. He's a Snake Cancer. Mentors of the world are snakes. Okay? Okay, horses. This is the sign of just the rebel. This is the rebel sign. So I remember one time I was feeling a bit down. I thought, let me watch some TED Talks. So I put on a whole barrage of TED Talks about these big feminist women who have fought in their culture and they've made changes all over the world, and they've fought against the odds. And I'm watching them, and I have this tendency to look at people and like, I wonder what your sign you are. You strike me as a dog sign, you strike me as a whatever. And I'm thinking, horse. Then I looked them up, and they're all horses. Bar one was a dog. And there must have been 5 or 6 women. 5 of them were horsewomen, these amazing feminists. Doesn't matter which culture they're from. But they were like fighting against the injustices that they saw and made huge change. Those are the horsewomen, okay? But rebels, rebel without a cause, James Dean, horse Aquarius. Just the rebellious personalities, and those we attribute that sort of tag to, horse signs. Okay, sheep signs. They're the social workers and also kind of artistic types. They're the patron of the arts as well. But the sheep signs, they're the most connected to their subconscious, right? So that's why there's so many inventors. And it's an interesting side story on this one, is that with sheep signs, the Chinese don't want to have sheep babies. They'll think, okay, we'd rather have a horse or we'd rather have a monkey, but we'll avoid the sheep because they see the sheep sign as malleable, as weak, as passive. But what's interesting is if you actually have a look in the rich lists all over the world, doesn't matter which country you go to, the sheep are right at the top. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. If you look in the film, in terms of the film, who gets paid the most? Julia Roberts. In Chinese cinema, Zhang Ji. All of these are sheep women. What's the other one? I was looking at country music. There's a woman called Reba McEntire. I don't know if you guys know who she is. Sheep Aries. The rich list is jam-packed full of sheep people. But in terms of Chinese astrology, they don't want... it's just part of the culture. They don't want a child that's not seen as strong or dominant or any of that. They'd rather have a horse, a rebel, even though they're difficult, and they'd rather have that than have a sheep sign. It's the stereotype, but I think sheep signs are pretty cool, being one. Okay. The monkey we've got as the leader. It's more to do with Leo than it is to do with the monkey sign. Monkey signs don't take on leadership roles straight away. They don't want them. They're not obvious leaders. The oxes are obvious leaders. The snakes are obvious leaders, and dogs can be obvious leaders. But actually, if you want to get something done properly and everybody in the team is serviced, you want to choose a rat person or you want to choose a monkey person, because they're quiet leaders that get the job done and they work very well with people. Okay. And let me come up with a story for monkey people. Monkey Libra, Will Smith. So Will Smith is a monkey Libra. It's a very, very determined sign. People like Martina Navratilova have a monkey Libra, and also Kim Kardashian, she's one as well. So very, very determined people. But anyway, so Nick Cannon was just coming onto the scene, and Will Smith decides to mentor him. And they're both the same combination. There was more of a story, but I forget. I just skipped to the actual point. The point is, both of them are Monkey Libra, which happens a lot. Like I say, people end up working with people or sort of taking people under their wing because they feel like a similarity and an affinity with people of the same combination. Okay, let's move on. Rooster. Rooster's the accountant sign. So there's two types of roosters really. You get the Natalie Portman, really, really beautiful. The Beyonce Knowles, the Britney Spears. You see these women have a certain way of being. I'm going to be really bitchy now, and I'm going to say something. So a lot of these rooster women can present like they're divas, right? But actually, the dog sign is the sign of the pure diva. We'll get to in a minute. But the thing about rooster women is they're strong, they're tough, they're all of that, but they need a man in their life. It's a terrible, terrible stereotype, and I'm sure that's not all of them. But if you think of the rooster people that you know, and think about how strong and tough they are, how tough are they when they don't have a man there at the same time? Then you see how they crumble. But anyway, it's a terrible, terrible stereotype. I'm sorry, roosters, but I love you. but you know, these people are really, again, roosters have this thing how they like tough. They're very focused. I don't really think of a rooster sign as a rooster. I think of them as peacocks. And imagine a peacock with all of their little feathers, okay, all those eyes on their feathers, all focused on one goal, because there's probably nobody more focused than a rooster. That's why, if you're a dragon person, by the way, if you're any dragon people here, and you want to hire someone to work with, you hire rooster people. And rooster people will work with dragon people, because dragons will know, because they're being the psychologist, they'll say, okay, if I hire this rooster person and I put them in this role, they will get the job done. They will work their butt off and get the job done, because there's nobody more focused than a rooster person. Except possibly the dragon. Okay, dogs. I love the dog sign. The dog sign is wicked. Okay, these are the kings and queens of everything. And my friends who are here must be tired, sick and deaf of hearing me talking about this. But I have to say it because you guys want to know this stuff. So, the king of pop is who? Was who? Shout it out, Michael Jackson. Dog Virgo. Okay. Queen of pop is who? Dog Leo. King of rock and roll is who? Dog Capricorn. Queen of Soul, they say, is Mary J. Blige, Dog Capricorn as well. Prince, Dog Gemini. Queen Latifah, Dog Pisces. Now they're calling this little Bieber dude Prince of something or other, but he's a Dog Pisces. So, kings and queens of everything. Queen of the Catwalk, Naomi Campbell, Dog Gemini. Kings and queens of everything are dog signs. Doesn't matter where you look at it. They might not always have the most money, but they're usually the most popular. Oh God, and this is a terrible one. America has had, so Bill Clinton, Dog Gemini, okay? Then George W. Bush, Dog Cancer. Leo, Dog Leo. Yeah, then we've had Dog Cancer, which is the next combination before, right? Then we had Barack Obama, Ox Leo. Now we've got Trump, Dog Gemini. So it seems like they're going one back and back and back in terms of the dogs. But, you know, kings and... Anyway, Scorpio, and the boar sign, the pig sign, which equates to Scorpio. These people are art business owners, but they're also space makers. There are so many of them who are interior designers. So I was watching, okay, so Kirsty Allsop is do you guys know who Kirsty Allsop is? You know, the one that does the location. So she's a boar Virgo, I think. Gemini. She's boar Gemini?
She's a Gemini.
She's definitely boar. She's born in 71. And then there was the one I love, Sarah Beanie, who's boar Capricorn. Then there's Grand Designs guy, who, what's his name? Kevin MacLeod, is it? He's a boar Taurus. Then there's Nate Berkes, who works with Oprah, who creates who does the house redesigns. Boar Virgo, I think, as well. So you see how boar signs, specifically with the earth signs attached, space makers. But they also RT business owners at the same time. So they combine the two, so artistic side and business owners together. People like Alan Sugar, I think he's a boar Aries. Yeah. So okay, so each of the 12 signs have a role. Okay. So that's that. Let me move on to. Hello, I'm Zach. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily.
Yes. Hi.
What is your date of birth?
The 5th of August, 1987.
Leo. So Rabbit Leo. Rabbit Leo. So this is what Whitney Houston was. This is what Charlize Theron is, and Phoebe Buffay, who I love, Lisa Kudrow, she's one as well. So okay, what's your time of birth?
8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I need my little chart. Let me just figure it out. 3 to 5, 5 to 7. What did you say again?
8 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning. So okay, so it's dragon. You're born in the time of the dragon. All right. So we've got 2 segments fire because two segments are dragon, 3 segments are rabbit, so it's water, and 1 segment is Leo, which is fire. Okay. So you've got a bit of a mix there. So we've got no, we haven't. It's three segments fire, 3 segments water. All right. So in terms of Chinese astrology, you think they were contrary to each other, but actually they're not. They're not. They're actually quite complementary for each other. So so Leo, which equates to the monkey, and dragon, which is Aries. Okay. All right. So when you have those 2 signs together, so you can imagine you've got the creativity side from the rabbit, the political artistry, and all of that. These people, again, they often work in they work with animals. This combination often works with animals, vets. Can't say veterinary. So they often work with animals. They work in social places as well. Some often work in finance, but I find them misplaced there. I don't think they're well placed in financial services. But you put them in a place where they work with people and they do very well. So when they have to take a sales position, that's good. When they work in sort of marketing positions within that sort of environment, they do very well. But as long as there's a personal aspect to it, or they're working with people whose energies they can impact, then they do very well. Okay. But if you're working in environments where you're cut off from people, it doesn't do this combination any good at all. They're also very good at drawing the lines, drawing their parameters, which people don't realise because they have an innocence and the sweetness and the softness about them. But actually they know where their boundaries are. So that's your chart. But in terms of, so now let's look at it in terms of compatibility. So the rabbit sign, the soul sign for the soulmate sign for the rabbit is the dog, right? So that's 82, 1970, 1958, 1994. So those are sorry. I know you're born 87. I know. All right. So yes. So that's the soulmate sign for you in terms of the Chinese astrology. And as a Leo, your the best sign for you as a Leo is, which equates to monkey, which is the Taurus. So Taurus is also very good for you. So when you connect with a dog Taurus, that's your soulmate match. So that's the one you really want to look for. But other good signs for you are sheep signs, boar signs, because they're water like the rabbit is, and also so you're born in the time of the dragon. So also monkey's also good for you as well. Yeah. So that's compatibility. What's not good for you is the rooster. Well, actually, that's not true. You know what? I tell you why that's not true. Actually, because your time of birth is actually dragon. Okay, so because your time of birth is dragon and the soulmate for the dragon is rooster, actually that negates that. But otherwise, your opposite sign to the rabbit is actually rooster. But because your time of birth is dragon, it negates that. So your compatibility is actually good. It's complementary. That in that context is very complementary because there is nothing that you can't really get on with because of the way your chart has panned out. So you're one of the lucky ones. Because you don't have any earth and you don't have any air, it doesn't mean that you're going to attract to yourself people who are of those signs. However, we're currently in a monkey year at the moment, which is a fire year. Next year is going to be rooster, which is earth, and because if we're in an earth year, that makes up one of your lacks because you don't have any earth in your chart. So therefore, but that's Western because we're doing Bartzi chart here, so it's slightly different. Yeah. So that doesn't come into it. In the Western chart, it does. So if we were doing a Western chart, then that would be very, very significant. But in terms of a Chinese chart and the Bartzi chart, the way we do the mind map pie chart, it doesn't come into it. So next year, because it's an Earth year, and you have fire and you have water in your chart, but you don't have air, you'll see air signs will be attracted to you. Dog sign in particular, right? So a dog is air, the horse is air, and tiger is air, right? So that means those signs will be drawn to you. In terms of Western zodiac, we're talking Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Okay? So it would just mean those people will be attracted to you. So for you, it's going to be an interesting one because it's your opposite year next year. So it's often obstacles, but at the same time as there's obstacles, there's always opportunity. And I reckon, I don't know what things are with you in terms of romance, but it'll be a good romantic year for you next year.
It's already.
Yeah?
A good romantic one.
That's good.
Good Taurus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What year?
1990.
1990?
Yeah.
That's
3rd
horse.
of May.
That's horse Taurus.
Okay.
Oh, that's really similar. So that's in the same chart, in the same group. So I was going to talk about this afterwards. There's 16 groups of 9 signs. So because you're a rabbit with Leo, so imagine we do a degree. Imagine you have a degree. So you do a joint major or like a major and a minor, right? So I did English and I did writing, okay? So my major was in English, my minor was in writing. So the way that you say that, English with writing, okay? So the way I do it is the first sign is water, because you're rabbit, so there's 3 segments in your chart. So water with Leo, which is fire, so water with fire. So there's a group of 9 signs of your signs, right? Of your elemental elemental package. So your partner is the same as your identical soulmate. So it's the next best matching along. So it's very well matched, is the point. Anyway, but yeah, so thank you so much for coming up here and being an example. Like your soulmate compatibility, and then also the best friend compatibility as well. All right? See how much you've been listening, and then we'll do some questions just after that. All right? It's not hard. It's really not hard. So let's just pick somebody again. Can we choose you?
Oh my
Do you mind? What is your combination? What is your Chinese sign and Western zodiac sign?
Cancer and Rooster.
So you're Rooster Cancer. Oh.
Is that very bad?
No, not at all, not at all. So you're Rooster Cancer.
Right now you.
I love the roosters. I do. I do. Yeah.
I don't really like roosters.
No, they're
I'm
peacocks.
embarrassed about being a rooster.
Why?
I'm
Why?
fine with Cancer then.
No. Don't. Everybody is. Listen, it's like the seasons. Okay, there's 4 seasons. 4 seasons broken into each season is broken into 3. Okay, beginning, middle, and end. So in the same way, there's seasons. We need there's 144 combinations. We need them all. Okay, there's reasons why we have the transitions. Everybody has a point for being here, and everybody's born here on a certain time for a specific reason. So what the book goes into is life patterns. What is the life pattern of a Rooster Cancer? What are their skills? There's things you can do that I can't do. I can do this bizarre thing. I mean, I've got the same combination as Thomas Edison. You know, we need time by ourselves. We need time to sleep and dream and all of that. Whereas rooster signs have this amazing ability to just figure out what it is they want to do and just go to it. Just super determined, super like, okay, I'm going to do this. And they don't let the inhibitions get in the way, you know? There's things that everybody's different. Everybody functions differently. Rabbit signs are different. Rabbit signs have this sort of, I'm so sweet and I'm so lovely, and actually they're really tough on the inside. But on the outside, they present differently, you know what I mean? Roosters are tougher on the surface than they are on the inside. They just keep everything in. They don't want to show any weakness, you know? We're all different. But yet, we all serve a specific purpose, and we all have different life patterns based upon when we're born and our chart. So actually, the book only goes into 144. But when you put your time of birth as well, there's 1,728 combinations. Okay? So that's a lot. So that's how many different life patterns there actually are. I don't really go into all of the 1,728, I just go into the 144. But anyway, coming back to you, sorry, I was losing my way again. So, yes, Rooster Cancer. So your soulmate is which sign?
Very interesting, because according to Western astrology, Aries is my worst.
Yeah.
And say 9 out of 10 of my boyfriends or lovers or even like a minor crush, all of them Aries. Like I go into a pub with my friends and I say, oh, I like that guy. Out of all of them, he's an Aries. I can spot them like gold in the sun. But then, you know, my relationships end badly so far. So.
But anyway, you'll be alright.
So it's fine with Aries then?
Yeah. It's good for Aries. Well, yeah, so Dragon is your soulmate in terms of Chinese astrology. And it does equate to Aries, so yeah. And Cancer, the soulmate for that is Gemini, right? So the best match for you is Dragon with Gemini in terms of Chinese astrology and Western astrology mixed together. Okay? So this is my test to see how much of this you're taking on board. And your least good match for you is, what's your opposite sign to Rooster? Rabbit.
Okay.
Rabbit. You have to look at the chart. No, I thought you were looking at the chart before. Yeah, but it's okay. You'll get the chart. You'll get a copy. Or you can buy the book.
Of course.
Yeah. So the least good match for you is Rabbit, and the least good match for Cancer is Capricorn. So the least match, the worst match for you, is Rabbit Capricorn. All right. But then you have a look at your best friends. So now what you're saying before, that comes onto that. So the other water signs, so Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, right? And you're a Rooster yourself, which is the Earth sign. So the other 2 Earth signs, so which is the Ox sign and the Snake sign. So you mix any of those signs together. There's 9 combinations, yeah. So it's the Earth sign with the water signs, yeah. And that's how you get your grouping of 9 signs. which also I'm going to include here. So I wrote an article for Chatter's Fate about the love match within the best friend groupings, okay? So I've included it here. So each of the 16 groups, so the double fire combinations, the rat with a dragon and a monkey, along with the Leo, Aries and Sagittarius, they're the achievers, okay? So when there's fire with fire, you get the achievers, okay? When you have the fire signs, so the rat, dragon and monkey, with the earth signs, they are the mediators, okay? So rat, dragon, monkey, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, they're the mediators when you have those signs mixed together. When you have the fire signs, the rat, dragon and monkey, mixed with the air signs, you have the commercially appealing group of people. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius with rat, dragon and monkey, commercially appealing. So then we have the motivators, rat, dragon and monkey with the water signs. And I have to admit, I brought some of my friends with me, and I've got a rat Pisces, a rat Scorpio and a rat Cancer over there. So they're the motivators, okay? So they're right in the middle to motivate you all. So then we have the powerhouses. We have the Ox. Really, very psychic combination. Do you know who Esther Hicks is? Esther Hicks, who the Secret was all based on Esther Hicks's work. So she's a rat Pisces as well, as is Tony Robbins. It's a very, very psychic, channel-y combination. Yeah. Oh, look, everyone's looking at you now. You're famous. Okay, so the powerhouses, okay, it's the Ox, the Snake sign, and the Rooster sign. So the 3 earth signs with the fire signs attached. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So then we have the perfectionists, which are the double earth combinations of the perfectionists, okay? So the Ox, the Snake, and the Rooster with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Rooster, Virgo, okay, they're very interesting to me. It's the most perfectionist you can get. So, okay, here's a little story. Dreamgirls. Have you guys seen Dreamgirls? So Beyonce Knowles was in Dreamgirls. She was Rooster Virgo. So you can't get more perfectionist than Beyonce Knowles, right? But then it was Jennifer Hudson who won the Oscar and sort of stole the limelight. So I'm thinking, okay, what sign is more perfectionist than Rooster Virgo? Couldn't figure it out. Look her up. What is she? She's Rooster Virgo as well. So Rooster Virgo was outdone by another Rooster Virgo. Okay, so the mentors, as I've already mentioned, are the earth signs with the air sign attached, the Oprah Winfrey. So Ox, Snake, and Rooster with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. These are the mentors of the world. The gifted people are the Chinese earth signs, Ox, Snake, and Rooster, with the water signs attached, Ox, Cancer, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces with Ox, Snake, and Rooster. Okay, sorry, so much to say. I'm so sorry. Storytellers. The 3 air signs, Tiger, Aries, and Tiger, Horse, and Dog, with the 3 fire signs attached, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The genius, the ones that are geniuses, are the 3 air signs, Tiger, Horse, and Dog, with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, the earth signs. The activists are the double air signs, Tiger, Horse, Dog, with Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. They're the activists. The specialists, the Tiger, Horse, and Dog, with the water signs attached, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The aesthetics are the water signs, Rabbit, Sheep, and Boar, with the fire signs attached, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. The intuitives are the 3 water signs, Rabbit, Sheep, and Boar, with the earth signs attached, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The sirens are the 3 water signs, Rabbit, Sheep, and Boar, with air sign attached, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And the refined sophisticate is the Rabbit, Sheep, and Boar signs, the water, and with water again, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, double water combinations. Okay, so I'm going to make this available, so if you want to have a look, what I've done here is, this is just the copy, the content from the article that I wrote. I basically wrote what it means when you're in that grouping, and usually when people often date each other from that same combination, from the same grouping, I've talked about what the relationships are like. Okay, and you guys can get that for free. It's on my website, and I'm going to give it to Watkins as well. So if you look back at this workshop afterwards, you can just download it and get all of this for free. All right, it will explain how to do the mind map pie chart as well, and all of the compatibilities. Okay. All right. Now the scary part: questions. Where did this come from? Have I made it up myself, or have I got this from ancient divination methods? So yeah, I've created the process myself. So nobody else does the elements the way I do the elements. That's something I've come to myself, because I've created a system. Because I've been reading, I read astrology, I read with cards, I do tarot card readings for people, psychic readings, and what I find is when I use my astrology to tap into the personality of the person sat in front of me, my life is made so much easier because I know which archetype I'm dealing with. Okay? But for me, using the Western elements is easier. It's like a shortcut. It's a shortcut straight to the personality. Okay? And then I am able to use my cards and read for them in particular and do like a separate reading. I mean, that's a bit different from the personality charts I've got here. But so the elements I've figured out myself. But what a Bartzi reading is, that's come from, is kind of connected to the I Ching. So like I said before, right at the beginning, there's 4 things that are important to a Bartzi chart. Your year of birth, which is the most significant thing. Your time of birth, which is the second most significant thing. What the Chinese do is they use month of birth, but I use the Western zodiac sign instead. And then the place of birth, I don't use that at all. I just use the first 3. Okay? So it's a derivative of a Bartzi reading, Bartzi chart, yeah. So that's how I start, and that gives me what I need in order to understand who's sat in front of me. Rabbit Leo, Rooster Cancer, for example. Yeah. So that's where it came from. So I learned from Chinese astrology, the school of thought from Theodore Lau, the Handbook of Chinese Astrology. That was my basis, and then as I've gone along, I've created my own. Because I started so young, I was 9. When I started, and so basically my mind is a dictionary of all this stuff. Okay, so we'll do this other thing. I want you guys to throw out famous names of people, and I'll see if I get them right. You can check in the book.
I can do this too.
I have no idea who that is. Who is it?
Chess player.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know. I'm terrible with that. Somebody else.
David Bowie.
David Bowie was a dog sign. He was
Capricorn,
dog Capricorn. Yeah, he was. Dog Capricorn. I say. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be competing with the guy.
No, it's fine, it's fine. You can help me out. Somebody else. Throw out famous people.
John Lennon.
John Lennon was I think it was a rat Gemini, I think?
Libra.
Rat Libra, rat with A, yeah. Yeah.
Leonard Cohen.
Who?
Leonard Cohen.
Oh, Cohen. Oh, dog Virgo, I think. Yeah, same as Michael Jackson. Dog Virgo, okay, they're iconic. That combination is iconic. Freddie Mercury, the Queen, by the way, another king, queen of the dog sign. Dog Virgo, Queen. Freddie Mercury, all right? Another king, queen of the world, remember? Yeah, same combination. Dog Virgo, Michael Jackson, Dog Virgo. Child stars, so many of them. Again, look at Indian cinema, look at Chinese cinema. Child stars are born in the Dog Virgo combination. River Phoenix, Leanne Rimes had a number one album, which was 13. Obviously, Michael Jackson, the biggest child star. So many of them. In Indian cinema, Neetha Singh, there's so many. Sorry, carry on. More famous people. Come on, challenge me. Throw them out.
Isaac.
Elizabeth Taylor is a monkey Pisces, born on 27th of February. More.
Janice.
Oh no! I know her. I think she's a monkey. Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look her up. Cher's Dog Taurus. Dog Taurus. We'll have to look her up. I'll look her up. Oh, you caught me out. Damn it. Blondie's a rooster. I think she's a rooster. She's a rooster Aries. Yeah, rooster Aries.
I'll do the Western reading.
Yes, good. I wasn't sure if it's Rooster Cancer or Rooster Aries, but yeah. All right.
Just look at her face.
True.
Just look at the shape.
Yeah.
Good she is.
But she's very rooster. Peacock. Think of a peacock. Okay, rooster women. Okay, I'm going to talk about you rooster women now. They carry themselves a certain way. They have this like exaggerated femininity. When Jennifer Lopez is, I don't know if you can see, she's just doing her makeup as I speak.
This is like organized.
Yeah, I know, it's funny. But they really do. People think of Britney Spears, think of Jennifer Lopez. Okay, Ariana Grande, the next generation now. Exaggerated femininity. Think rooster. They carry themselves like the exquisites. I'm so expensive. You know.
Wow.
That's
a man.
Oh my god! He's so free!
No, you know, I'm just saying it's this. Oh, I'm bullying the roosters. No. It's just a stereotype.
And what about the combination of Gemini and Dragon?
Gemini, the dragon Gemini. You mean what are they like?
Yeah.
Is that what you are?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the spiritual messenger in the dragon, and then we have the social aspect, because dragon can be quite a social sign as well. What I find interesting when you put the two signs together is they will be in the midst of social activity, but then they really get to a point where they do it so much that they hate people, and they need to like stay away and like, I need to keep away from people because people are bad. People are the worst thing in the world. And then they need it. They are naturally, they tend to be extroverted types. I don't know whether you are, but the stereotype of the dragon Gemini is that they're extroverted. But then they sick of people quite easily as well. in terms of life role, when you have those two things together, because the Gemini always adds a level of sociability to every sign, but the dragon's already quite sociable. So when you put that together, you would think it would make somebody super sociable, which it can in small doses, but not. They need space by themselves as well, just to get their head right, because they can be absorbers of people's energies. You know, they're often empaths. In fact, I would have wagered that a lot of you that are here are probably empathic types. So there's 3 types of people, okay? So this is kind of connected to Chinese astrology, but not, because each of the 144 can be broken into these 3 groups as well. So there's the givers, the takers, and the matchers. Okay? So I find that people that are sort of interested in this sort of work tend to be empaths. So they tend to be givers or matchers usually, right? Then so it's good for givers to be in relationships with matchers, because matchers are boundaries. So when they're in relationships with matchers, it's a good thing. But when givers are in relationships with takers, and takers can only be in relationships with givers, because matchers don't stand for it, then they're in trouble. Because givers will carry on giving. And I would wager, I wonder whether you roosters are having that issue at the moment. You're finding that you're in relationships with people who are takers, because the rooster empath will just give, and won't have any sense of boundaries around that. So therefore, until they do, and then until they become matches, yeah. But it's interesting. I lost my way now. I can't remember what the question was.
A giver and a taker, is that like from astrology as well?
No, well,
Just personality?
no, it's different. It's nothing actually to do with astrology. But I'm working on a piece of work at the moment that's categorizing the signs, saying, so for the Rooster Cancer, it has a leaning to be more of an empath because of the Cancer side. Rabbit Leo is most definitely an empath in terms of the stereotype of the sign. So I'm just saying there's leanings. So it's nothing is fixed. Nothing is fixed. Any sign can be any of those 3, but there are leanings towards certain things. Okay. But I actually forgot the question. What was the question? Was your question about the Dragon Gemini? So yeah, it was about the empath. So I think that the stereotype of that combination is that they're quite empathic. They give and they give and they give and they give, and they once they've given so much, that's when they tire of people and they need to remove themselves, because they don't know when to stop giving and how to stop giving. So then they project outwards and almost make it the other person's fault. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I basically use celebrity to illustrate each of the signs. So when you do look at your, let's look at your one. Let's look at Dragon Gemini, because I can't think of any Dragon Geminis. Oh look, I opened it to Dragon Taurus. Can't think of any Dragon Geminis off the top of my head. So I think Monica, the one who played Monica in Friends, I think she's one. Is she? What is her zodiac sign? What's her name again? Courtney Cox.
Yeah, she's a Gemini.
She's a Gemini, so I think she's a Dragon Gemini. Is she here? Have I put her in here? Maybe I haven't put her in. So we've got Joan of Arc, first one. Colin Farrell, Tom Jones, Lenny Kravitz, Isabella Rossellini, Courtney Cox. Oh, she is there. She is there. Bob Monkhouse, Nancy Sinatra. So yeah, I try and illustrate through each of the through celebrities how each of the signs are like, each of the combinations. So what I've done is I've put a famous quote by somebody at the top here. So for this one's Colin Farrell. The first time you hold your baby in your arms, I mean, a sense of strength and love washes over you. It washed over me, and I never thought that possible. I always try and put something up there that I think encapsulates each of, like, every single, like, a strong aspect of that sign. So yeah, so I've done it with all of them. I really hope you guys like it. I mean, a lot of work has gone into it. I researched so many famous people, and I found the similarities between them and put all of those stories into each of the chapters. So there's an essay on each of the combinations or archetypes, however you want to look at it. So there's a lot. This took me 9 years to do, and I really hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Big length of time to put it together, but it's done, and I love it, and I know you will too. All right. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Thank you.